Welcome to the Ignite 180 podcast, where faith meets fire and transformation takes flight. I'm your host, Sharita Santiago, and together we're unlocking your potential and building unstoppable strategies in sparking the change you've been waiting for. No more playing small. It's time to step boldly into your purpose, lead with impact, and transform every space you enter. If you're ready to ignite your passion and create a ripple of lasting change, this is your moment. Igniter, let's ignite the world together. Hello, and welcome back, my friend, to another episode. I'm your host, Sharita Santiago, and I am thrilled to have you listening in again this week. This episode is so exciting for me because this is our bonus breakthrough episode. As you listen to this podcast, you'll experience the series of conversations we'll have with our guests, where you'll hear from me independently, but you'll also have an opportunity to experience, in addition to our tips given in each episode, you'll have an opportunity to experience our breakthrough moments. And in this episode, our breakthrough moment is specifically around cutting through the noise. I'm not sure if each of you, like myself, experience the barrage of heavy email chains about fast food restaurants and new opportunities, and this person selling a training or that person selling a new item or clothing. But the average person experiences about 5,000 marketing messages a day. And there is endless noise that's experienced that creates overwhelming distractions. Think about the last time you picked up your phone and you flipped through all of the reels and all of the funny videos. I have a dog. I absolutely love dogs. So I look at all the dog videos. Yes, that's me too. I have to cut through the noise. And one of the things that I thought of as we talked about in our last episode, why, is that sometimes we get caught up in the noise of the world, the noise of our lives, the noise that we don't have control over, those emergencies that make you put down life and pick someone else's obligations or life up because you're just a dynamic and helpful person. Well, ultimately, this barrage of noise or this the information sensation we experience, the opinions that are out there, don't just clutter your headspace. They clutter your inboxes, your meetings, they clutter your family noise, your conversations. And today we want to talk about how to cut through some of that noise to get you to a point of success. So what I want to do is tell you a little bit about this experience I had growing up for the first time seeing horses. And growing up in Baltimore, there were a number of things that transpired that might have seemed unusual. I don't know what city you grew up near or in, but growing up in my city, we grew up in a concrete jungle where you shouldn't have seen horses, but we had a group of men called the Arabs in our community, and they used to come through with these fruit trucks, and they would shout watermelon, apples, oranges, and they would pull up on the block with horses and carts selling fresh fruit. If you think farmers market on wheels, this is what it looked like. Well, one thing I noticed as a kid was their horses always had these blinkers over their eyes, or these blinders. They look like patches. And those patches are essentially called blinkers. The blinkers are used or designed to restrict the peripheral view and vision associated with the horse, preventing distraction. And this helps horses and the crowd of people around horses remain safe so that they maintain their focus on the direction in which they're walking. Now, when I learned that these tools or items were called blinkers, I found that really interesting, that in the life of a horse, having to focus on what's in front of them or what's in front of it, that there was something put in place to kind of blind them to all of the other things around them so that they not get distracted, but focus specifically on what they were designed to do. And that's what I want to talk to you about in this bonus episode. I want you to focus on your design, what you were designed to do. This does not mean that life will come handed to us with a pretty bow and there will not be obstacles. But as you manage the obstacles and you manage the noise, what does it look like for you to cut down on some of the distractions? Do you step away from your phone? Do you do personal retreats? Do you find space to kind of get away? I'll tell you honestly, I'm recording this video at 3 a.m. because this is the time, or this podcast, I'm sorry, at 3 a.m. because this is the time for me to get away and cut down on the noise in my household. This is mightily important. And yes, I'm out of that 3 to 5 gang. Like I wake up really early in the morning because this is my zen and time for me to have peace. So what we're going to do right here is cover 5 breakthrough strategies. And I'm really excited to share these with you because I believe, similar to myself, I'm not telling you anything that I wouldn't do myself or that I wouldn't share with my students or friends or mentees, is first, clarify your vision and your goal. We talked about this in the last episode, but when you think about the noise, thinking about being invited somewhere, participating in something, I want you to ask yourself, if you have priorities or things you truly need to get done, I want you to ask 3 questions. You with me? Those 3 questions are, first, does this align with my goal? Does it align with the thing that you said you would do? Are you upholding your word to yourself? So the first thing is to cut through the noise is, does this align with my goal? The second thing is this actionable or just information overload? Whether you're being invited somewhere, asked to participate in something, I'm with many of you all before starting anything. Sometimes I get into analysis paralysis where I have to land on the right answer. And sometimes that's the wrong thing to do. I'm not saying don't be wise or strategic, but just ask yourself the question, is this actionable or is this information overload? Are you putting yourself in a position where you're overanalyzing and digging too far into something? Or can you simply take action and get it done? And lastly, is the thing that you're being asked to do bringing you closer to your purpose? Now, for many of you all who are business people or running your own business, you might be listening to this and say, there's a networking event or there's a conference or a book I need to read or an Audible I need to pick up. I want you to stop and ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my purpose? Why? Because I am you. I've been to every conference, read all of the books, done all of the things. And sometimes it's a method not to do the thing that I'm designed to do. It's a method for me to overanalyze and to outperform the first set of knowledge that I had in lieu of actually getting something done. So cut back the noise by first asking yourself, does it align with your goals? Is it actionable or just information overload? And does it bring you closer to your purpose? The next thing that I want you to do is, this is pretty cool. This is an actionable tip. So I want you to write this down. The next thing I want you to do is do a noise audit. On each of our cell phones, we have part of our settings that tell us how long we've been in social media, how long are we browsing the web. I want you to do a noise audit. Identify platforms, places, people. Yes, I said people who are distractions, habits that drain you. If you find that there's a solitary person who's consistently calling you or always in need and not able to get it together, first, refer them to the podcast because they might need some of this. But second, find out ways that you can support them differently so that their needs don't drain what you have before you. You got to keep your blinkers on. So you don't want their needs to drain what's needed inside of you from a purpose perspective. And I want you to figure out how to eliminate them, refine them, or place limitations around some of those things. In a few episodes, we'll be talking a little bit about boundaries. So this will make more sense to you. So the next is I want you to communicate with intention. This is also an actionable tip. You want to create personal and professional messaging to kind of reject some of those opportunities that might come your way. I've been invited to a lot of events, birthday parties, baby showers, weddings, and all kinds of things. And again, loving my community, loving those around me. But sometimes even those things, when I'm facing priorities, become a bit of noise, not because I don't want to be invited, but sometimes they're pressing priorities that have an due date or have to get done. So you want to make sure that you're able to do that. So create messaging that's soft and warm. Listen, you got Chat GPT. Maybe there's another way to do it, but you can throw your stuff in chat, give it a good prompt, and get you a nice message out. And lastly, in this breakthrough moment, one of the things I want to have you consider is making time for reflection. Like truly make time and space so that you are able to reflect, pray if you pray, but have some consideration for time to journal, time to reflect on your thoughts, time to reflect on the experiences that happen with you, to you, for you. Those are vitally important. I believe that as I sit here in the quiet of dark 30, maybe between, this is 3:29 a.m. I reflect on the things that I want to share in my experience in putting this together. Before I join the podcast and begin talking to you, I find myself in a bit of prayer to ensure that what it is I desire to share makes the most sense for those around me. I also use this time to journal down thoughts and to read my scripture or to maybe think about goals or priorities that I really need to accomplish. We have to make space for ourselves so that we're good and filled up for those around us. So as I prepare to end this episode, this bonus breakthrough of cutting through the noise, I want to say first, you've got this. And remember that cutting through the noise isn't about silencing the world. It's about amplifying what matters most to you, to your family, to your business, to your career, and your relationships. So I want you to take these tips and start reducing your distractions, refine them, or create boundaries that support your overall objectives. But remember, your leadership cannot thrive in chaos. It only thrives in clarity. So as you break through the noise, I want you to create meaningful impact, both personally and professionally. And until we meet again in our next episode, let's ignite the world together. Thanks for tuning in to the Ignite 180 podcast. Be sure to visit our website at ignite180.co and join our community of bold change makers. You're here to break barriers, ignite change, and inspire others to do the same. No gatekeeping allowed. Like, subscribe, and share to help your friends tap into their potential too. Remember, you're salt and light of the earth. So this week, let your light shine and reveal God's glory through you. Until next time, stay bold, unleash your power, plan big, and spark change.
I seek the path Jesus designed for me. In his light, I find clarity. Through every season, his plan takes shape, guiding me to the life I'm meant to embrace. Ignite 180 podcast, where potential is unleashed. In his name, I find success and peace, growth and change. In him I believe, living the life meant for me. His grace I receive.